Hi, I'm Renz Eric P. Camacho.
I'm EJN Briones.
And I am Andy Domingo.
We are second-year medical technologists from 2IMT. Today, we will teach you the basics on using RapidMiner Studio and its applications in data visualization, wherein we can see the repository, which is the storage site of our data, the operators interface, which is full of operators we can use to analyze and clean the data, the process tab, which is the main interface for us to connect the various operators and the data, then the parameters, which acts as the options menu for our operator. Now, to start, first import the file you want to analyze. For this video, we have chosen a file full of data on the various effects, tests, and treatments of dengue in a hospital. Now, once uploaded, drag the file from the repository section of the interface to the process section. Test the data by dragging the out section from the data box to the rest portion of the process section, then run it. Now, click on the Results tab and look at the statistics. Inspecting the data shows us that there are various missing points of information which we should fix. Do this by first going back to the Design tab, then search for the Replace Missing Values operator in the Operators tab, then drag it into the Process section. Once there, you shall change its parameters such that the attribute filter is set to single, while the attribute is set to the attribute with the missing piece of data. Repeat until all the attributes have been placed in their own separate operator. Then, just connect the IDSA field from the latest Replace Missing Values operator to the rest field of the process, which we shall then run. Just like that, all the missing values are now non-existent, and we are now prepared to analyze our clean dataset through graphical visualizations. First up, a bar graph.
After data cleaning and preparation, we will go to results, then visualization to make a graph. I'll do plot. Let's make a bar graph. So the x-axis column, we will go base hospital. Base hospital. Aggregate data. Value columns. Aggregation function is average because it's a number. So after that, let's make a title of it. History of dengue. If a patient has a history of dengue, they will be more likely to be staying in the hospital for at least 1 to 2 days because of the severity of their sickness. And if there is no history of dengue, it will be less days of stay. This is important because at least the doctors can prioritize the patients if they have a history of dengue, so that the average days of stay in the hospital can be the same. There's no more difference.
Next, a pie graph.
So another visualization technique is by using a pie graph. Pie graphs are used to compare slopes with two variables or more. So aggregate data is age, then group by gender. So y-axis has then make a factorial correlation with gender of dengue. So looking at this graph, it shows that males are more prone to dengue, which means that males should be aware that they are more prone to dengue because of certain circumstances. And this is important to know so that every male should be informed that they are more prone to dengue and that they should be aware of it. That's all.
After that, we have the heat map. For this one, I made a special attachment in the old process we used, wherein I added a filter examples operator in order to make it so that the platelet count attribute only corresponds to a value greater than or equal to 150, since a normal platelet count ranges from 150 to 400 units. After doing so, just follow the normal steps. Then, go to the Results tab, where you should then pick the Visualization option. We will then pick the heat map from the plot type options. For the value column, choose the platelet count attribute. Then, check the aggregate data box. Lastly, group it up by the diagnosis discharge attribute, which shows the diagnosis of the doctor to the patient after discharge. Wherein, we could see that there are more people with a normal platelet count who were diagnosed with dengue with or without symptoms than those who were diagnosed with severe dengue. This makes sense in context since they didn't have an extremely low platelet count. But it does come to show that one lab test isn't enough to determine if someone has dengue or not. So, if a medical technologist was asked to prescribe a test, one must not only prescribe one, but many for the safety and security of the patient to be sure that they don't have dengue. The graph is therefore titled as Correlation of the Diagnosis Given to the Patient with the platelet count of the patient upon testing. Last but not the least, we have the histogram and the scatter plot.
On how to make a graph or visualization, go to the visualization part, then plot your graph. In which case, I will plot a scatter plot. Next. Wherein the x-axis will be hematocrit count, then the value columns is platelet count. Then I will click the regression interpolation to linear to see if it has a linear correlation. Next. visualization graph shows that there is a negative linear correlation between hematocrit and platelet count, or as the hematocrit increases, the platelet count decreases, shown in this graph. The relevance of this graph is that it shows the linear correlation or the relationship between two variables and it does not show the cause and effect. So even if there are more hematocrit and less and decreasing platelet count, it does not show the cause and effect because it depends on how the patient or the variables. Next, the importance of it as a medical technology student is it gives us information on how to analyze and interpret the data of our patients or persons we will be examining in the future. Next graph is histogram, where in the value columns I will set it to age. Now, title, I will change it to age, frequency of them. In the histogram, it shows that the most frequent age of dengue data is from age 47, which has the highest amount in this data, and it also varies according to age. Like on age 24, it also has a high data, and it is somewhat skewed to the left because it is important to know as a medical technology student because the age frequency of dengue patients may have an effect to our community. Like from ages 47, which is the highest, which means they are most susceptible from having or contracting dengue virus. Then it also shows us the importance on how to analyze the data. That's all. Thank you.